when it comes to Galaxy of Heroes, it's quite a complicated game and there's a few mistakes you may be making. My name is Globit, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to avoid these mistakes and how to fix them. So the first mistake we're going to be covering today, guys, is in fact not paying attention to mods. This is honestly the biggest mistake you can make in this game, especially as a new player. When there's something that's complicated, this works for real life and Swgoh, or something that takes a long time, if you're like me, you kind of say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I might just never do it. I don't like mods. I don't like doing anything I don't want to do, right? I mean, you wake up in the morning, you got to go to work. Sometimes you're just like, I don't really want to go today. Not me, but maybe you guys are like that. I don't know. And here's the thing, guys. Mods is frustrating. They are time consuming, but they're very, very important to get right. Because if you get them right early game, and if you get them right from the start, it's going to help you a lot longer down the line. So when it comes to mods, there's a few mistakes people are making. The first is 6-dotting bad mods. So for example, I'm going to show you something that I'm preparing on my account and explain why it's a good decision for me, but a bad decision for you. So if we go to Reaver and we go to Assign Loadout, I've been preparing an Afro mod set, guys. Now if I was to show you this mod set and show you this cross, you're going to say, buddy, Globit, what are you doing? Because this is not a very good mod, guys. It's potency, but it's very low speed. This is an example of a mod you wouldn't want to 6-dot until your very late game. So don't watch streamers or watch content creators or Twitch or YouTubers, whatever, and copy word for word what they're doing. Because sometimes what they're doing is very niche and specific to them. For me, this is perfect for Afro because it has potential to roll, and I have the resources to roll it. Whereas for you, someone who's just starting the game, you should try and avoid this. So there's some cases where you're going to be 6-dotting characters, and you would have seen it in a thumbnail, guys. That Thrawn, there was Thrawn's mods, and he was like plus 22 with 6-dot mods. That's unbelievable. So from those mods, he was gaining like 6 speeds. It was literally like a 15-16 speed mod before 6 dots, like speed set. It's absolutely wild. And you want to try and avoid these sorts of scenarios. So the first thing you can do is you can actually slice mods with potential. And what I mean by this, guys, is if you go into the mod loadout, and I'll show you guys a quick trick here in order to fix your mods. So if we go to filters, when you're slicing mods, if you want to 6-dot them, it's very important for pilots. What we're actually going to be doing is going to speed on the secondary, and you're going to change this to average slice quality at least 60%. And if you do this, these mods typically are going to be worth slicing. You'll sort by speed, and you'll see that typically they have quite good rolls. I mean, you can see that I basically 6-dotted all of these. So if we went to Mallet, this isn't a bad mod. So that's like the first way to 6-dot if you don't know what you're doing. Otherwise, you can check out my series that I started that I will be continuously uploading for, which is just a quick mod guide. It takes like 2 minutes per episode. It covers different topics. The link should be somewhere in the corner around here. So now we've kind of covered 6-dot mods. There's one other thing, guys, with mods that's important, and that's bad mod sets. Bank Ideals, if you're watching, I'm so glad you finally fixed your mods. there are times when it's okay to have, offense, and then crit damage, and then offense again, because you don't necessarily need that second subset, right? But a lot of the time you're going to want speed set. A lot of the time you're going to want health sets, defense sets. It's very important to know your mods. And a lot of people will go to .gg and they'll look at the best mods and just copy it word for word. It's important to farm and use specific mod sets, but it's also important to understand that just because everyone does something, it does not mean it's right. So this is where you kind of need to do a little bit of research and watch modding guides, and you can work on from there. Alright guys, so the second mistake people are making, especially you new players out there in the game, is fleets, guys. Ships always take a lot longer because characters are 2 shards per drop, ships are 1 shard per drop. So whereas a character can be done in 1.5 months, roundabout, right, 1 to 2 months, a ship will be done in 2 to 4 months. This is about refreshes, so it's very important to be farming them, guys. So for example, are you someone who's going for Leviathan? or are you someone who's wants Ebon Hawk for your fertilizer fleet? Then you need to be farming it early on. Don't make this mistake. Don't ignore fleets. It's very, very important to do fleets early on, guys. And there's two reasons for this. One is ships are so important for Grand Arena and Territory War. If you don't have ships, you're not going to win. Unless like you're some Kraken who just farms, and spends ridiculous amounts of money to have GL layer at 1.5 million GP. Can you believe that, guys? When I saw that, I was amazed. So if you don't have any of this, you're not going to be getting zetas, and zetas are such an important part of this game. You're in a big, big disadvantage if you don't have this. So guys, this is one of the reasons why it's very, very important to be working on those ships in the early game, because if you don't do it, you're basically setting yourself up for a bad time. Moving on, guys, and the topic does kind of follow here, is applying bad omicrons or applying bad zetas. There are hundreds of zetas in this game, over 300 to be exact. And on average, if you're doing all the assault battles and you're winning Territory War and you're winning Grand Arena, and this means winning every Territory War, coming first in every Grand Arena, and you're doing everything else that gives zetas, you're going to be getting around about 4 to 5 a month. And as you guys who are new to the game, you're probably going to be getting 2 to 3 if you're lucky. So that would mean it would take you 100 months based on that progression to get every single zeta in the game, or close to, because it's over 300. Which means you need to actually think about what zeta you're applying. So it means, for example, don't apply Canderous Zeta. It's just an example, guys, but these zeta, when Canderous gains crit damage up for 2 turns when an enemy gains taunt or becomes death marked or marked. It is an interesting zeta. I'm sure there's some reasons to have it. I have it. He's also unmodded, guys, because I'm doing Afra's mod sets and moving some stuff around. But you don't really need to apply it. And you will find there's a lot of zetas in this game that you just don't need to apply. For example, guys, Young Lando. Terrible zeta. Just do a little bit of research. Now, there are ways to find out if a zeta is worth applying. One is going on YouTube and just googling this zeta and then just see what comes up. The next option is to go to swgoh.gg and just go to the what's a zeta page is on your profile, and it will tell you the percentage of these characters that you have and how many zetas have been applied. So for example, it will say like 90% of this said character has this zeta, which means you should probably have it. Now, I know earlier I said if everyone does it, doesn't mean it's necessarily right. That's when it comes to mods. When it comes to zetas, typically if it's 90%, 99% have, you're gonna want it. Obviously, there's always that one dentist who just says, I will not recommend this product. So there's always gonna be one guy who just goes out and says, please don't do this zeta, but just go with the maths on this one. It's very important to get zetas right, guys. And it's very important to look up what zetas impact the most early game. For example, Vader's Merciless Massacre, Geobrood Alpha Queen Will. These are the sorts of ones you're going to want to be doing, and it's important to look them up. And just like zetas, guys, we also have omicrons in this game. Omicrons take even longer to get. As a new player, you're probably looking at like 2 months per omicron to begin with. It does eventually go down to just under a month per omicron, but to begin with, you're looking at 2 months, and guys, you don't want to spend 2 months and come out of it with an absolutely god-awful Omicron. Chief Chirper, I'm looking at you. So you do want to do a little bit of research and make sure you're applying the correct Omicrons, make sure you're applying the correct zetas, because it's going to help you a lot down the line, and this is honestly one of those massive mistakes I see people make all the time. For you guys who don't know, I do a lot of roster reviews on this channel, both GAC focused and regular. And I constantly see the same mistakes popping up, which is why I'm here to talk about it today. Now, the next issue, guys, that I'm going to be talking about is leveling characters up to unusable levels and unusable gear levels. For example, there's always going to be that one guy who has like a level 85, your gear 2 Nisa. The level 85 is, passable. Obviously, credits is a big issue, so as a new player, I wouldn't recommend this. However, having a gear 2 level 85, unless you're planning on gearing them up, is just don't do it. Don't do it, guys. because it's a waste of credits, 6.4 whatever million credits it is, and then on top of that, you can't use a gear 2 to do anything in this game. So don't be this person. Only gear up characters you're going to use. Obviously, if you're not buying a Hyperdrive bundle and you have to progress manually through the journey, let's call it, then obviously there's going to be a couple of characters that like gear 4, 5-star, whatever, and level 70, because you had to use them, you had no choice, you had no other characters. But if it's only 1 or 2, we can pass it. But when you start seeing accounts that have multiple low gear, low level characters, it's just a waste. Now, there is a counterpoint here, guys. When you get to 4 mil, there's another video that should come up in the corner here somewhere, guys, and it's going to show you how to bloat for Proving Grounds. When it gets to that point, of course, it's okay to have level 50 gear 1 characters just for mods, for bloating purposes. But that doesn't mean you gear 5, gear 6 them, because they're not going to be doing anything for you. I'm not really a fan of the lean roster. I like a little bit of bloat in my life. But at the same time, there's a limit, guys. You want it to be effective and useful, rather than just random, uncoordinated mess. So guys, that's really, really important. Seriously, I see this way too much. Please, please, please stop leveling up characters to unusable levels. If you're going to level them up, at least take them to a usable level with the usable abilities. And I'm going to stop saying usable because someone out there is getting triggered. Alright guys, and now we move on to the last mistake that you guys are making when you're new to the game, which is all about guilds. This is staying in a starter guild. Guys, if you're a new player, you do not want to stay in a starter guild because it's going to negatively impact you. The rewards you get from being in a guild that does the HSIF or the Crate Dragon raid or future Endor raid is just too important. It's too much gear. The other thing is, like, you're not really going to be getting gear donations, you're not really going to be doing territory wars, nothing like that. TB is going to be a mess. It's very important to find a guild. Now, there's a few places you can go to find one. Does normally require Discord, or just go into someone's YouTube chat, aka mine, and just spam, I need a guild, and I'm sure someone will somehow give you. I've seen it happen. I'm not really recommending that in other ones because some people get funny about it, but I've seen it happen. But it's very important for you to find a guild. And the reason for this is because the resources, guys. The guild store is so good right now. You can relic a character in under a week. I proved it on my old account at the moment. I just took Cassian last week, and this week Jin's going to relic. And this is all because of the guild store, guys. It's so good for relicking characters, for getting gear, for getting credits. It's an amazing change, and this should have come years ago. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Glurmit, and as always, guys, have a glurmin day. It's like...